A question of land. Unpacking the crisis in Zimbabwe. Land is a fundamental resource in Zimbabwe. It holds economic, social, and cultural significance for the people. The history of land ownership in Zimbabwe is complex and fraught with injustice. Colonial rule dispossessed indigenous communities of their ancestral lands, creating deep inequalities. The post-independence era promised land redistribution, but the process has been marred by controversy. The land question remains an extremely contentious issue. At the heart of the matter is the ownership and control of communal lands, which are home to a significant portion of the population. These lands are traditionally held under customary tenure systems, with chiefs and headmen playing a crucial role in land allocation and administration. However, in recent years, there has been a growing trend of local authorities leasing or selling off portions of communal lands to private investors and individuals. This trend raises critical legal and social questions. It challenges traditional land governance systems and has far-reaching implications for the livelihoods and well-being of rural communities. The justifications provided by local authorities for these land deals are often shrouded in secrecy, lacking transparency and accountability. This essay delves into the complexities of the land question in Zimbabwe, examining the legal and social impacts of leasing and selling communal lands. It explores the justifications given by local authorities, analyzes the consequences for rural communities, and proposes alternative solutions. The essay also underscores the importance of empowering traditional leaders and communities while emphasizing the government's role in ensuring fair and transparent land administration. The rationale for leasing and selling communal lands. A closer look. Local authorities often argue that leasing and selling communal lands are necessary for economic development. They claim that these deals attract investment, create jobs, and generate revenue for local governments facing financial constraints. The influx of capital from private investors, they contend, can be used to improve infrastructure, provide social services, and uplift the living standards of communities. Furthermore, local authorities point to the potential for increased agricultural productivity. They argue that private investors, with their access to capital and modern farming techniques, can revitalize underutilized land and boost agricultural output. This, in turn, can enhance food security and contribute to the country's economic growth. However, these arguments often fail to consider the potential negative consequences of such land deals. Critics argue that the economic benefits are often overstated and rarely trickle down to local communities. They point to instances where land deals have resulted in the displacement of villagers, loss of livelihoods, and environmental degradation. The lack of transparency and accountability in these transactions raises concerns about corruption and the potential for elite capture of valuable land resources. Moreover, the leasing and selling of communal lands undermine traditional land governance systems. These systems, rooted in customary law and practices, have ensured the equitable distribution and sustainable management of land for generations. The erosion of these systems threatens the social fabric of rural communities and undermines the authority of traditional leaders. The human cost of land deals impacts on rural communities. The leasing and selling of communal lands have profound social impacts, particularly on rural communities. One of the most significant consequences is the displacement of villagers from their ancestral lands. In some cases, communities have been forcibly evicted without adequate compensation or alternative resettlement options. This displacement severs their connection to the land, disrupts their livelihoods, and creates social upheaval. Furthermore, the loss of access to land undermines food security, particularly for vulnerable households that rely on subsistence farming. When land is converted for commercial purposes, it often leads to the production of cash crops for export rather than staple foods for local consumption. This shift in agricultural production can exacerbate food insecurity and increase reliance on food aid. The erosion of traditional land governance systems also has detrimental social impacts. It weakens the authority of traditional leaders who play a vital role in conflict resolution, social cohesion, and community development. The undermining of these structures can lead to increased social tensions, land disputes, and a breakdown of law and order in rural areas. Moreover, the influx of private investors and the commercialization of land can exacerbate existing inequalities. It creates a divide between those who benefit from these deals, often wealthier elites with connections to power, and those who bear the costs, primarily marginalized rural communities. This widening gap between the haves and the have-nots fuels social unrest and undermines inclusive development. Section 4. Beyond land sales. Exploring alternative revenue streams. Local authorities face genuine challenges in generating revenue to meet the needs of their communities. However, relying solely on the leasing and selling of communal lands is a short-sighted and unsustainable solution. There is a need to explore alternative revenue streams that do not compromise the land rights of rural communities or undermine their livelihoods. One alternative is to strengthen local tax collection systems. By improving tax administration, widening the tax base, and curbing tax evasion, local authorities can enhance their revenue generation capacity. This requires building the capacity of local government institutions, improving transparency and accountability in tax collection, and engaging citizens in the budgeting and expenditure tracking processes. Another option is to explore innovative financing mechanisms such as public-private partnerships that can attract investment in infrastructure and service delivery without jeopardizing community land rights. These partnerships should be structured in a manner that ensures equitable benefit sharing, protects the environment, and upholds the rights of local communities. Furthermore, the government can play a more significant role in supporting local authorities through fiscal decentralization. This involves transferring more financial resources and decision-making power to the local level, enabling them to respond more effectively to the needs of their communities. Decentralization, however, should be accompanied by robust accountability mechanisms to prevent corruption and ensure that funds are used for their intended purposes. Section 5. Towards a just and equitable land system. A call for action. The land question is a complex and multifaceted issue that requires a holistic and inclusive approach. Addressing it effectively is crucial for achieving sustainable development, social justice, and lasting peace in Zimbabwe. It is imperative to recognize that land is not merely an economic asset, but also a source of identity, livelihood, and cultural heritage for many Zimbabweans. The government has a crucial role to play in ensuring fair and transparent land administration. This includes enacting and enforcing laws and policies that protect the land rights of all citizens, particularly those in rural communities. It also entails strengthening property rights, promoting responsible investment, and addressing historical land injustices through a comprehensive and participatory land reform program. Empowering traditional leaders and communities is essential for effective land governance. Their traditional knowledge, customary laws, and social structures are invaluable for ensuring the equitable distribution and sustainable management of land resources. The government should recognize and support the role of traditional leaders in land administration while providing them with the necessary training and resources to carry out their responsibilities effectively. Furthermore, there is a need for greater transparency and accountability in land transactions. All land deals, whether leases or sales, should be conducted in an open and participatory manner, with the full involvement of affected communities. This includes disclosing information about investors, the terms of agreements, and the intended use of land. The leasing and selling of communal lands have far-reaching legal and social impacts. While local authorities may argue that these deals are necessary for economic development, it is crucial to consider the potential negative consequences for rural communities. By exploring alternative revenue streams, empowering traditional leaders and communities, and ensuring transparent and accountable land administration, Zimbabwe can move towards a more just and equitable land system that benefits all its citizens.